Greetings, friends. It's Colrain or Colrain Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm so excited to do this reading, connecting you to a message from the divine. Now, to be synchronized into this reading, I'd love for you to get into a meditative state. Take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top for a moment and release. Completely relaxing and connecting as you use your intuitive senses, your intuition, to choose a pile. We have group 1 here with the amethyst heart, group 2 with the sunstone heart, and group 3 with this labradorite heart. I will see you in your group. Greetings, group 1. If you selected this first pile, this is your reading from the divine. So you have this amethyst heart here. I'm going to turn down the music just a little bit because I want you to be able to hear it, but still hear me. So there's something about maybe quieting your mind, because amethyst is a really great mental cleanser. And maybe even cleansing your space and your surroundings. So I'm going to flip over all the cards and then begin to interpret. We have the 8 of Swords, the solar plexus chakra, the green man, and moss agate, the raven, focus. I don't know what's going to all be on camera. And then we have 2 more, but I'll save those for the end. So, group 1, the divine wants you to focus on your mental health right now and how it impacts your ability to show up in the world, to share your authentic self with others, and also how your mind is maybe contradicting your actions. Because I'm seeing somebody thinking one thing and then doing another. The green man in moss agate is also clarifying this with the words ritual and ceremony, and it says new spirit guides and tree wisdom. So trees, they stay rooted, they stay grounded, and the way that they move is by interacting with other moving, living beings. Even interacting with the wind for their movement. So there's something about this surrender that these spirit guides that the divine is calling into your life or sending into your life. They're wanting you to learn how to become rooted and still and slow, in order, like in a sacred circle almost, in order to allow you to bring a new focus into your life. Even in this focus card, there's like a circle motif, this bullseye, and it's the number 33, and this is the 3, the solar plexus, and it looks like there's this like golden ring, this golden bullseye. They're wanting you to be able to carry out and follow through with goals, because of this slowness, because of this stillness, because of allowing things to move in alternative ways in your life. The raven says magic, coincidence, and synchronistic events. So this is about allowing an intelligence outside of yourself to provide you. Even with the green man here, this is like abundance. There's a lot of like, I don't know if you've been trying to force things in your career recently, or force things in your self-expression, forcing yourself to show up when you're burned out. The 8 of Swords, I really love this depiction because there's this little, it almost looks like a platypus or like a pangolin, wrapped into this like fetal position, this like kind of universal seed energy, and they're in this like woven sacred golden circle with these flowers emerging, and the swords look like they're pointed in, but they're not harming what's in the center. And so it feels like you may be, under a lot of stress to be focused on something. Even the raven is talking about intellectual abilities. So it may be that this energy is drawing you into the mind, and your divine, I wanted to say your divine, but yeah, it's like the divine energy within you is like calling out to be heard, to be recognized, for you to focus on healing any mental chatter, any blockages, anything that's going on in the mind that feels like it's judgmental or doubtful or self-depreciating. There's a sense of like being able to liberate yourself from these mental patterns that are keeping you disconnected from the body. Because I always see the solar plexus chakra as being that, it's located in the center of the stomach, right underneath the rib cage. And so it's this meeting point between like the heart and the lower subconscious mind of the sacral at the navel. And I see this as the highest consciousness form, the most conscious chakra point within the lower subconscious chakras in the body. So it's this like bridge of being able to be conscious and intellectualize our emotion. But there's something here about maybe over intellectualizing the emotion, thinking more about how you're feeling rather than observing how your actions are revealing your feelings. And there's also maybe, it's like being able to also bring your consciousness from like the crown, from the third eye, down into that solar plexus chakra to become aware of those gut feelings, of those the emotional intelligence that resides there, so that there can be more of this ritual and ceremony. Because ritual and ceremony is talking about our actions that we take in an intentional and protected manner where we're co-creating with spirit. And I feel like the divine is wanting you to be able to cultivate that focus so that you can begin to develop a new ritual and ceremony with these guides that are coming in to help make the mind and the body more congruent, kind of unify these two. Because even the raven is sitting on this skull, which is like representing the mind as well. It's like being open and aware to the magic, the coincidence, and then also integrating it with this feeling, this empathy space. Because I know in human design, the solar plexus chakra is the seat of emotional intelligence, emotional awareness. So let's see what's going on in the rest of the cards that you have today. That's incredible. This imagery right here is mirroring almost exactly with this large dark bird perched atop this human skull. You have the death card here. So the divine is wanting to help you to embrace this death and rebirth. And as I'm filming this, this is on the spring equinox, Ostara. It's sometimes called this time of reawakening and rebirth in so many different cultures. So it may be that, you're watching this at a different time because this is a timeless reading. But whenever you're watching it, it feels like your heart is going through a surrender process. Even though we don't have the heart out here, there is a bit of green that I've noticed. And so it feels like your heart is being required to surrender to what your body has been trying to tell you. It's like your heart wants to take a step aside is what I'm seeing, and allow for the mind and the gut to connect unobstructed. And this may also lead you to, I'm seeing that kind of connection from the back of the neck down the spine and into the stomach that happens with the vagus nerve. So this may be something that's an important part of this, connecting to the divine, allowing yourself to surrender into the divine where you're being led. With here, this card, you have Leah, which is a manifestation of the divine that wants to be personified in your life, a divinity, a deity that you may want to work with right now. And this is Leah. Leah says, stand your ground, group 1. So part of this surrender is not to give up. The divine wants you to remain strong in your position. When I've seen this card come forward in my own personal life, I have noticed that it appears when there is a need for recognition of these emotions that have been suppressed, pushed down. We've almost like gotten into a narrative of maybe talking ourselves out of the validity of the emotion, and led to maybe even numbing the emotion. And I do think that there's an aspect of like self-esteem that needs to come forward with this stand your ground card. It's like standing your ground despite feeling like you may be vulnerable to these thoughts, to these negative emotions, maybe even negative relationship patterns that are in your life. And I really like that this card, Stand Your Ground, has this water element, because water is about, surrender, about this synchronicity, about giving into the journey that the divine wants to take you on right now so that you can heal. Sorry, this carpet's kind of pushing the cards. So that you can heal the solar plexus chakra, because I feel like there is a blockage there around accepting self, around validating the emotions, around loving yourself and being able to create routines that reflect that groundedness and that loving focus and presence that the divine is asking of you right now. So I've got the guidebook, and Leah's energy in this deck says, don't suffer in silence, ask for what you want. So the divine is wanting you to experience a death of these self-limiting narratives, these narratives that are coming from a lack of self-worth, an undermining of your own power, because the solar plexus is about that manifested power. And even as this is happening, I'm feeling my throat, the quality of my throat change, because it feels like there's a blockage that's coming out from the throat as well as you unblock the solar plexus. So it's like this blue and yellow energy, and that's also making green. So it's like something's happening through the heart. There may be like a blockage that's happening through all 3 of those energy centers, and by moving those 2, it's going to release the one in the heart to allow you to focus on what you want to grow, what you want to be clear about, what you want to be heard about in your life. So Leah is an Aboriginal Australian water goddess and guardian of women. Looking down from the sky, she noticed a group of women digging for roots in the dry desert. The men in the village had created certain rules, so only they could leave the camp to get water. The women had to stay put, thirsty and dusty. Leah decided to intervene. She went into the mountains, dug her digging stick into the ground, and discovered a water spring that turned into a river. So Leah is also representing like water divination. That's like kind of like a dowsing rod in a way. I don't know if that's like a culturally specific practice, so please, if this is your culture, forgive me if I'm projecting something onto it, but I'm just recognizing that as a common indigenous practice that's really important, like being able to divine where water is. It's reminding me of like elephants too. So, and I was wondering if this was going to be connected to Africa, because I was feeling Africa with this big dark eagle. I don't know why, but if that doesn't resonate, that's okay. This is a general reading. So the women, now refreshed, formed their own community with Leah as their leader. So There's like a liberation from being forgotten or being overlooked that's happening here as well. An empowerment through finding the water. That can be a metaphor for finding the emotion that's behind it, something, and getting out of just thinking about it or trying to justify it. You have an extremely giving and supportive nature. Everyone can always count on you to be there for them. You put others first, go out of your way to understand their needs, and bend over backwards to honor their requests. These are traits that often show up in empaths, healers, light workers, earth angels, intuitives, and sensitives. And this is what I was feeling, taking a side note from reading this. This is what I was feeling for you, that this is a time for you to discern what your intuitive voice is and what your voice that's like coming from maybe like trauma or people trying to control you, like what the discernment between the two is. Goddess Leah is urging you to set some limits before you risk losing yourself under a pile of other people's needs, demands, and expectations. Leah smiles widely and assertively claims generous space for you by pushing her stick into the earth. She asks, "Are you a living saint?" No. Are you being a doormat? Possibly. Do you have needs, dreams, and wishes of your own? Yes. Start putting yourself first. Ask for what you want. Ask for help and be open to receive it. You may feel uncomfortable to begin with, but my waters will enliven you. Together we'll clear stagnant patterns and find fertile new ground. So Leah is wanting to help you set this intention to break free from this 8 of Swords energy and to really find the place where you can step into this new power in your life. And recognize these synchronicities that the divine is trying to bring into your life to support this, because I feel like some of you have maybe been questioning if you even, have, it's like you need permission from the divine to feel like you're still, serving and providing and supporting in the ways that you've been really devoted to as a spiritual being. So that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 1. Thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to channel these messages from the divine to you. I will see you in another reading, my friend. And if you are interested in a personal reading or in looking at my policies and ethics, those are at my website below. Bye. Greetings, group 2. If you selected the second group with the little sunstone heart, this is your reading from the divine. What does the divine want you to know right now? Just cleansing and clearing the air a little bit with this mountain water spray that I got from a beautiful friend. Okay, so group 2, I'm going to start by laying out your cards and then begin to interpret them. So you have 8 of Wands, Earth, Citrine and Dandelion, Risk. Let's scooch these over a little bit. And the Butterfly. And I'm going to interpret these final 2 cards in a moment. Okay, so group 2, with this with this Sunstone, the Sunstone is all about finding personal power and also about, I feel like, finding your unique identity, your unique voice, finding the warmth within your life, like really cultivating a sense of like wonder and appreciation and gratitude in our lives. At least that's how I feel about Sunstone. The Butterfly here with beauty is, again, speaking to that. I feel like right now, what the divine really wants of you is to continue finding gratitude. Continue appreciating the little things, because it has transformed your awareness, and I feel like giving you more of an ability to be patient with life. The 8 of Wands here, this is actually a pretty chaotic depiction of the 8 of Wands. Usually, it's talking about swift movement, but it looks like this falcon is nearly missing all of these arrows. Arrows I usually associate with swords or air energy, but in this deck they have it depicting the wands. So this can be maybe intentions of others in your life, maybe well-meaning folks who are giving you advice, but they're like ultimately you are the deciding factor in this situation. And so it feels like maybe you are getting like nearly missing the negative like mental effects of the patterns, of the beliefs, of the perspectives of like those around you, or maybe even like things that you're seeing online on social media. Yeah, it feels like as well there may be other like opportunities coming through on social media that are helping you to sharpen your vision, because falcons are about like quick movement that is decided, it's focused, it's directed, and they don't hesitate is the point. So there's something here about not hesitating to act on something and not letting kind of the chatter or opinions of other people who aren't living your life influence you more than they need to. I think you're really like stepping into trusting yourself right now with the earth as well, because this card says the frequency of earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our great mother and revealing the more ethereal spiritual aspects of our nature. So you have beauty coming out twice. Before I interpret that too much, I want to look at these for a moment and then recollect. So citrine and dandelion says make a wish. This is earth energy and fire energy. So clearing comparison, surrender to magic, and risk. Yeah, it's like you're seeing these things and you're finding so much gratitude for the fact that they exist, and in doing that you're also calling them in. It's like by admiring something, it's almost like the divine wants to bestow you with certain gifts, because it's like the divine loves to see you in that flow of appreciation and generosity. It feels like you're someone who, when you receive blessings, you automatically look for ways to share and distribute these blessings. And so the divine really wants to like magnify that beauty that you're recognizing. It to me, I'm seeing like someone who's like walking through a store. They're not really looking for anything. It's like a market, right? They're walking through. They walk up to someone's booth and they notice these beautiful like, you know, handmade earrings or something, and they say something, you know, just casual, admiring the craftsmanship, the work of the earrings, you know, the materials maybe, and saying like, I wish I could have those. And then let's say like they're with a friend or something, and the friend notices that this person really enjoys these things, and they're like, oh, this person's birthday's in like a month. And they are like, you know, you go ahead, like I'm gonna stay back or whatever. And you know, they buy the earrings, and it's like, surprise, a month later, you know, they're provided with it, and it's like, how did you afford these? Well, you know, I'm paying you back for something that you helped me with. It's something like that, like where the divine is wanting you to really indulge like in appreciating what you like, pointing out what you want, because I feel like you're not a demanding person. You're someone who's going to be in that energy of gratitude, trust, and I feel like you're really like, you've been going through an elevation spiritually where it helps you to enjoy the simple things a little more. Clearing comparison, yes, this is like the divine is really proud of you for how you've been honoring others, listening to people's perspectives, taking in, you know, people's advice, but also really remaining true to yourself, clearing that comparison and knowing what's good for you as an individual, surrendering to the magic of being in a body, of being able to transform and change and experience these like kind of cycles of rebirth, because the butterfly does talk about like transformation and rebirth. And it's like you're being invited to like take a risk by allowing yourself to want or to desire again. I feel like you've released these, a lot of desires that were unhealthy in the past, and it's like the divine wants you to rekindle that very human experience of wanting and asking and sending off these prayers almost like a falcon, like up into the heavens, so that you can have a really clear and decided outcome or manifestation that the divine can bring towards you. Yeah, I just really feel like the divine wants you to make a wish right now. So let's see your final two cards. You have Thoth, divine masculine, and the Five of Pentacles. So if you, I'm seeing the Five of Pentacles rather than being like poverty or struggle as being a simplification. Even in this card, there's only one really like tone of color that's been used, this kind of green color. It almost looks underwater or something. Things are flowing and moving, and this person has closed their eyes and they're really tuned within. And it feels like that's what you did. You simplified, you allowed the divine to really strip your life down to the bare bones, essentially. And because of that process of trust and of recognizing the beauty in the simple things, in the earth, maybe even like reconnecting with the spirit of the earth as well, I feel like the divine is like really proud of you for being able to do that and to be in these states of uncertainty. But I feel like if you're questioning whether your situation will change or become more beautiful or more abundant, again, the divine is saying that this manifestation of themselves in Thoth provides a remedy of faith and research as well. I feel like there's information out there that will help you to take this risk that the divine wants you to take. I feel like the divine is asking you to maybe be stepping into a more active role in your life. Whereas in the Five of Pentacles, this is someone who is maybe needy, who's asking for support, who's needing help. The divine is really wanting you to be in this divine masculine energy, which, contrary to popular belief, I feel like is actually about being able to receive information and respond with grace and humility. Yeah, it's all in the response. So it's like, now that you've learned how to receive messages, to surrender to the magic, to be present and recognize spirit in your physical reality, it's like spirit's wanting to call you deeper into those things that you have been really connected to, whether it be animal guides or divination or crystal healing or like massage therapy or something. I'm just seeing lots of different like interests that came forward through this spiritual awakening that you've had. And instead of feeling like you are looking for the divine to maybe hold your hand or tell you exactly where to go, it's like the divine wants you to get into this Thoth energy where you take on the role of creator in a really, like, in a humble way, in an empowered way. So let's see what Thoth says in the guidebook, and then I will let you go. So here it is. Be a conduit for awakened masculine energy. Heal the father wound. So Thoth, I was about to say the pronunciation, was a high priest in Atlantis before becoming Tehuti or Jehuti. In the ancient Egyptian or Cometian, god of magic, wisdom, writing, and knowledge. In art, he was often depicted with the head of an ibis, his sacred animal, which is back here. As scribe to the gods, the ancient Egyptians attributed him to all works of science, religion, philosophy, and magic. The ancient Greeks called him Hermes and worshipped him as the inventor of astronomy, astrology, mathematics, and every branch of knowledge, human and divine. Thoth holds the divine masculine essence, where being active, purposeful, strategic, and logical synergizes with a healing, sacred purpose. Thoth is stewarding a conscious, heart-opening, soul-aligned, masculine awakening. So I was feeling the energy of that spiritual awakening, and it may just be continuing and transforming into this expression of healing the masculine energy. And if you don't resonate with that concept, that's okay. Or if you don't feel like you identify with masculinity, that's also okay. But we all have a balanced energy within us. And if we strip this down and take away that labeling, this card is talking about knowledge and intention and discovery, like kind of seeking something out. And documenting your findings as well, comparing, even though we have release comparison, it's like contrasting what you know with what others have found, to create a more balanced and well-rounded depiction of something. So it says, your purpose is to activate the divine masculine on earth. This mission will take you into numerous life lessons and personal trials as you heal your own heart and awaken to your spiritual wisdom. You have the capacity to lead by example and become a noble teacher for others. When Thoth appears, it's a powerful message of holding. Interesting. So maybe you're like carrying something or holding an energy. But healing through personal responsibility and stepping up to sacred duty. So yes, this is about going from this mindset of needing the divine to tell you what to do or to give you instructions, or maybe even others outside of you to like give you like assignments. I'm seeing like somebody going from like being in class where you're given prompts to like creating your own prompts for like research or discussion. You're healing wounded masculine energy, which shows up frequently in men, but can be present in women or other gender identities. Examples of wounded masculine energy are fear of being vulnerable, living only in your head, inability to be present, numbing yourself with addictions, being ego-driven, controlling, or dominating others, and emotional unavailability. So there's a message that's coming through here where it's like, I feel like you haven't been showing up in this wounded masculine energy, but you may have been affected by this, and so you've been remedying it by stepping into that observer role. And now you're ready to begin to respond, to reawaken that aspect of yourself that would be like Thoth, the one who reacts to what they're observing, like science and in math, like making sense of the data, things that are being presented to you. And also recognizing symptoms or experiences that are showing to you unavailability emotionally in your connections, or in institutions that you're connected with, or in certain jobs, maybe if they're not available to you. Sometimes when I've noticed when there are like organizations or jobs that are connected to a very patriarchal way of being, they can kind of simulate this like emotional unavailability to us, and it can be damaging over time. So there's a lot of layers to this. Okay, I'm going to keep reading and then close out the reading. So, a soul teacher is coming into your life embodying divine masculine qualities, clear communication, self-inquiry, and understanding, connection to emotions, reverence for the awakened feminine, responsibility for actions, and connection to spirit. Drawing this card can point to healing the relationship with your father. This will help you claim your soul's purpose, and please only take that if it resonates. You're trusted and appreciated. Your awakened masculine light is needed by the world. So additional meanings could be that this is a message of love from your father, if they're on the other side, or if you're at a distance, or if you're feeling like you just needed that affirmation. You can trust the man about whom you're inquiring, or join or lead a men's or male identifying spiritual growth group. And the invocation is, my life is guided by the eternal masculine. I commit to this path. So, yeah, and I feel like too, with that, like feeling like you need to be guided, that may be, I know I was kind of, I hope you didn't feel like I was judging you if you were feeling like that, but I did kind of discourage that. But at the same time, I am feeling a second message coming through that if you are feeling that way, the universe doesn't want to leave you hanging or make you feel like you have to flounder. You need to be overly responsible for where you're headed. It's like you will be guided through by example, rather than through maybe what you're more used to, which is a feminine leadership that may be more like hands-on and like support you in a different way. This is going to be more of like leading by example, helping to encourage your own autonomy, your own like leadership qualities as well. So that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 2 with the Sunstone. Thank you so much for you being here, for your guides, for the divine, for coming through and channeling this message through me today. If you are interested in a personal reading or in my policies and ethics, that is in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you in another reading, my friend. Bye. Greetings, my beautiful pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. This is your reading from the divine. If you selected this beautiful pink shift labradorite heart, I was trying to get it to shift for you, so I hope you got to see that beautiful shift. So I'm going to start laying out your cards, and I will interpret them after I get them out. So you have the Page of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, Soul Time, Stromatolite, and Fern. Just shifting these over a little bit. And the Truth. I'm going to leave these two to interpret last. I'm going to move this over here. Okay. So initially with that labradorite, I can tell that you are in a transitional period, and potentially even I'm feeling like there's an emphasis on solitude, or at least on being with a very close, tight-knit group of folks that you're working on very intentional like soul lessons with, or you know, maybe they are like soul family or inspirational to you in some way. I don't really know what like label you want to put on it, but it feels like these people you're very comfortable with, and they're also encouraging different aspects of your personality to grow, different things within you spiritually as well to come forward, for transmutation and integration. Especially with this 10 of Cups here, I'm seeing this as like very much like soulmate energy of like having the right people around you, focusing on family. Maybe you are focusing on, you know, starting a family or getting married, or if that's not your jam, maybe like helping to create a home space for yourself, for your friends. Yeah, there's just something about like the realm of like establishing a foundation, and revisiting your own foundation as well. So some of you may be going and visiting family, like going back home, going to a place you grew up right now. And all of this is for finding the truth and allowing the truth to pass through your awareness so that you may gain a little bit more wisdom. I feel like the divine really wants you to be able to be in a place of accepting the wisdom that you've earned with the Page of Pentacles and the grasshopper. It's also the lilies really standing out to me too. I don't know what that like tiger lily represents. I kind of want to know, so I might look into that. 1 second, group 3. Okay, so the tiger lily symbolizes like strength and growth and prosperity and luck, which is also what the grasshopper symbolizes. So yeah, there is something about like kind of getting acclimated, because this is the page, and there is something innocent in these little foxes, like and I'm just feeling like a newness to your energy. It's like you're getting acclimated to what prosperity might be in your life, the blessings that the divine wants to bring to you, bringing in more clarity as well. And it feels like yeah, just a new chapter is opening in your life, that is going to help you to feel more mature as well with soul time. It's like there's a coming into yourself again with that, like accepting the wisdom that the divine has been wanting you to like take in because you've earned it. I also feel like there are some situations that may test your patience, like having to do with like paying certain bills, or fulfilling certain responsibilities, that once you do fulfill these and you get through that process, I feel like the divine is like taking that time, with the soul time card there. Once you take that time to carry out these responsibilities, to show up and fulfill them, it's like you're gonna feel really proud of yourself in some ways, but also like I feel like for some of you, you're going to allow yourself to feel deserving of indulgence or like taking a real vacation, because I'm seeing something about like part of this new chapter being about you getting new experiences and going new places. With the grasshopper too, because I'm pretty sure that they migrate to eat food in different places and stuff. So there's something about like uncovering the truth wherever you are, or also like facing the truth of your life. For some of you, this is also going to be like paying off certain debts that you have, like changing the truth of your reality, or making a plan to not run away from these responsibilities. So it says the frequency of soul time allows us, or asks us to allow, the possibility of a new reality to emerge. Okay, awesome. One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. So it's like you're balancing the things that you need to do on like a practical everyday level and the things that fulfill you spiritually, and kind of like embracing that experience of almost like boredom that comes with happiness, or like a lack of chaos in your life. And it feels like by doing these mundane things, you're actually going to feel a lot more like spiritually strengthened, if that makes sense. With the stromatolite and fern with akasha, this is the earth and water elements. So it says strip back and simplify, look to your origins. Yeah, that's what I said about some of you going home or like visiting family, or maybe you're asking for advice if you are trying to start your own family or plan out like where you want to live or something. This also may be a really good time. I am filming this on the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. So, but this is a timeless reading, of course. But there is this like kind of notion of like spring cleaning that happens around this time of year. So this may be a really good time for you to physically cleanse things out, check up on those little loose ends in your life. And also as well, I'm getting another message from the divine that they don't want you to get lost in adulting or lost in being in this mature role. They also want you to be able to, like the akasha says, strip back those responsibilities, or maybe even simplify those processes if you can. Like, you know, for example, maybe if you've been doing your own taxes or something, like outsourcing that to someone who can help you or support you, something like that. I know for me recently, like I love to DIY things, and I love to, like, you know, give myself haircuts and like do my own nails and things. And recently I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get like a real haircut. So it's like something like that where it doesn't take so much of your energy to just go and pay to have something done in the right way, or also even like asking for a friend to do like an exchange, you know, if you know somebody who has a trade that you need support with, and you can like trade them for something that you can offer them, something like that. It feels like there's just going to be like also like creative solutions that you have that are kind of as old as time, like exchanging goods and services like that, like bartering and all that. That's like so old, you know. It like predates any like economic system we have right now. So yeah, it just feels like there's something that you're doing to really be resourceful right now, and to not give in to or like buckle under the weight of responsibility. And honestly, this is really like inspiring to me too, to be in this energy with you, group 3. And I'm really glad that the divine is wanting to bring this forward for you, because I feel like whether you know this or not, like you are benefiting, you know, if you do have kids or if you're planning on having kids, like there's kind of like a legacy that's coming forward from this, like putting your nose to the grindstone almost. And it's not even that like intense. It just feels like there's something where you felt like it was going to be such a chore, and now you're like kind of approaching it with new eyes, like being a little bit more excited about everything. And like being grateful for the responsibility in a way. So let's see your final 2 cards. You have Agma, watch your words, and the 2 of Cups. So if you've been having like tension within relationships or friendships, or like I mentioned at the beginning of this reading, like you're kind of focusing on a close-knit group of people in your life, definitely focus on creating a foundation of these relationships, or returning to the foundation of these relationships to really assess how it's serving you. It almost feels like when, like the energy I'm getting is like when a couple has been together for a long time and like something happens and like they want to renew their vows, or renegotiate like the kind of expectations or agreements of the relationship, something like that. It doesn't have to be that for you, of course, but it feels like there's like like getting out of those like subconscious, like, oh well, that's just how it's always been, or that's like just how we are, you know. You're like taking more of a conscious role in these relationships, and I think that's why this watch your words is really standing out too. Because I think like if you're having to reapproach like the way that you've been adulting, the way that you've been like talking about your future, there's like lots of different ways that this can manifest for you. So I'm getting a little bit lost in this with all the possibilities. But yeah, essentially anything that you've been trying to approach, the divine wants you to know that your words are powerful, and if you're honest and you share, you know, where you're coming from, you never know who you're saying something to. You never know who will have the right connection or bit of understanding that will help you, or even change your life, change your perspective. So it's almost like, yes, like watch your words in terms of like as a warning, like to be intentional about what you want out of your relationships, like not being impulsive or just saying something that may cause difficulty in a relationship when you don't really mean that. But on the other hand, it's also about like be clear about what you need help with, and about the time, like the time that you're taking to like kind of get some stuff in order, and what's like most important. Yeah, so let's see. I really want to see from the guidebook what Agma Watch Your Words is about. As well, this Two of Cups, I'm almost like surprised to see it, but not at the same time. Because it's showing like a mother bird with like a daughter bird. I'm really seeing these two as like this is like the older like mother energy and then the maiden. So it may be that like you're focusing a lot of your like loving energy on the truth of like those who need you the most right now. And so your words may have power in terms of the advice that others will take and how that will shape the decisions that they're making in their lives at this time, because this feels like a really formative period for you. So Agma, watch your words. Infuse your language with light. Your words matter. So Agma is the Celtic warrior god of literature, eloquence, and speech. He's the champion of the Tuatha De Danann, the ancient Irish pantheon of divine beings. A lord of knowledge, he created the Agam script, the earliest system of writing in Ireland, and those are shown in the back. The language consisted of notches and strokes traditionally cut into wood or stone. Agma is said to have created or conceived many languages and poetry that were imbued with rays of light. Celtic mythology describes sunshine beaming from his hair, and he's given epithets sun-faced and strong man. Agma teaches us about the tremendous power of words and supports writers, linguists, and orators. So yeah, there may be like you're defining a relationship right now. You're really like setting into stone. Like I'm even thinking of like the marriage contract, how it has like these vows put into it. There is an intentionality of like promise that's put in there as well. Like that page of earth, it's like solidifying an intention through language, or like a physical document. Agma leads you to his standing stone, etched in Agam script. He places your hand upon the rough surface and speaks to you with a light-filled voice. Notice the words you use about yourself, others, and the world. Spoken and written language carry energy that can shape your reality for better or worse. Your body, mind, and spirit respond to the way in which you describe yourself. If you say, for example, I'm useless, I can't do this, I'll never be any good, your cells and vibrational intelligence believe those words. They'll go on to create experiences that reflect them. But if you say, I'm good enough, I'm doing my best, and I can succeed at this. I almost said exceed at this. So there may be like, you reaching a certain level of like achievement. Then your energy shifts to create this truth. Your brain chemistry is influenced by what you say. Your mind is always seeking to show you evidence of what you speak about. Notice how you communicate with other people. Do your words lift them up? Before you speak or write, ask yourself if you'd like to receive these words. You have the power to shift the world with language, so use it with care. So the additional meanings here are pursue creative writing or submit a manuscript to publishers, learn a new language, you're an inspirational public speaker, or visit Agam stone sites in Ireland and Britain. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that may be part of your travel, or traveling to visit family, to go to like a country that you feel connected to, or that's your origin. Look to your origins. Connecting with ancestors may be really important too, or ancient languages, or your mother tongue with the mother there. So it says, finally, the invocation. My words make a positive difference. I speak from my soul. And you have soul time here too. So this is about reconnecting you to your soul, getting yourself to be able to live your life in a way that fulfills like a soul purpose, connects you to that purpose in your soul, and help you find your truth. So that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 3. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank your guides and every other guide in the universe that brought us together. If you are interested in a personal reading, or you want to check out my policies and ethics, that will be at the link in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you in another reading, my friend. Bye.